guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lakin. Thanks for stopping by. This is the look that I recreated today, and if you want to see how I achieved this look, please hang out and watch the rest of this video. And as always, if you like what you see, please subscribe and it will notify you when I post new videos. And also give me a little thumbs up at the bottom of the screen and hang out and we will get started. You guys, I drink a matcha latte every morning. You see my dogs. Anyways, I had to get my dogs to calm down. So now I'm back. So today's look is going to be using the Mar palette by ColourPop. I just got it in the mail the other day, so I'm really excited to play with it. Also, I cut my finger at work the other day and it's pretty bad, so excuse this beautiful band-aid I have on my finger today. So I did my brows off camera because I have very uneven brows. This one goes straight across and this one likes to kind of point down a little bit. So doing them on camera makes it really hard because I have to be really close to the mirror, and so I can't show what I'm doing very well. It takes me a long time and I have to draw all these extra crazy lines to get them even in the way I want them. So now that the brows are done, I'm going to go ahead and start my lids, and I'm going to prime my lids with the same lid primer I have been using, which is by NYX, the Professional Makeup. It's just a little cream jar and it's in the shade Skin Tone. And I just use my finger for this. It's really easy. Just swipe on the product. I do have to be careful because it is a little bit darker than my skin tone, to not let it bunch up too much because it gets a little splotchy. So I just moved my desk. Normally it's up against that wall over there, and I just had the regular light, and then I had the natural light from the window coming in on the right, and then my lighting coming straight forward. But I decided it was a beautiful sunny day today, no clouds, which is so rare for Oregon. I mean, I get it's been summer, so it's been pretty hot, but it's starting to cool down, and it's typically really cloudy. So it's beautiful, bright blue skies, and so I moved my desk up against the window so I have natural light coming in as well as my lighting that I have myself, and then I have the lighting from the bedroom light coming in on this side, and then I have my little ring light mirror right here. So I've noticed already that this lighting is way better. Now in the winter and when it starts to get foggy all the time, I don't know how it's going to work out. I might have to get better lighting, but as of right now this is great, and natural lighting is free. So now that we have the eyelids primed, I'm just going to wipe off that little bit that I had on my finger with a makeup wipe. I always keep my makeup wipes right on my kind of just like beauty area with me because I get makeup all over my hands, and then if I'm wearing a nice shirt or something, or I touch my jeans, then it gets all over my clothes. So I always just keep this on hand. It's a nice little trick that I learned. It also helps if I need to clean anything up. It's just kind of on hand. I don't have to get up and stop what I'm doing. Matcha break. Also guys, I went to the Space Needle a couple weeks ago and it was the best time of my life. I also did the giant Ferris wheel on like this little mini boardwalk they have in Seattle, and this is the cutest mug I could find, and it was the cheapest one also, but it's kind of like those like camping mugs, and so it's super great. So I'm gonna stop talking. Been talking a lot this video, getting more comfortable with the camera, if you will. So without further ado, I'm going to finally get started on these eyeballs. I'm gonna do one on camera and one off camera to save everybody a little time. But I'm gonna go in with the BS Small. Of course, it's not named anything, it just says BS Small, but this is clearly a fluffy brush. I do really like the feel of the fluffy brush. It's super soft. All the brushes that I got from this brand are very, very soft and they apply really well. Okay, so with my fluffy brush, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, tap off any excess, and just go ahead and sweep that on my lid. Such a pretty color. Like, it's pretty in person, but I almost think it's prettier on camera. Oh, this lighting. It keeps going in and out, so I'm sorry. But basically what I'm doing, You comfy? This is what I'm dealing with right now. Okay, minor setback. My dog would not stop licking the palette and everything else. So back to what we were doing. I'm still taking that same first transition shade and I'm sweeping it on the upper portion of my lid, and I'm gonna drag it out a little bit on the side because I want it to create kind of a V, because I'm gonna build in a couple other colors before I dip into that beautiful blue color that I showed you earlier. Okay guys, so I'm all finished with that first transition shade. I have it V'd just how I like it, and I have it smoked out. You can see just a little bit on the bottom. So I'm gonna go in with this little fluffy brush right here. It is a different brand. It is by Glamour Dolls, and it's brush number 10. It has cute little whales all over it. And I'm gonna go in with this darker brown shade right here. I'm just gonna pick it up a little bit and of course tap off any excess. And I'm gonna just go in right above my crease. I'm doing it very lightly because I want to give myself an outline to follow without going in too heavy. You can always add more shadow, but taking it off is just not gonna work. So that was the hardest thing for me to learn, because I would just dip my brush in there and go straight in as much as I could instead of taking my time in building. I think a lot of times when you watch YouTube channels or you see those tutorials on Instagram, you see it going so quickly, but it leaves out so many steps and it leaves out so much time for whoever's doing their makeup to build it up, to get that shape, to do what they're trying to do. And so I was thinking, oh, these people just get their brush covered in foundation or in product and then just sweep it all over their eye and then buff it out. But if you do that, everything gets muddied and it doesn't work out and it doesn't look the way it looks on Instagram. And that's because we're not seeing the full video. We're not seeing like the full effect. Okay, so I have exactly where I want it, and I did that because now I have my first transition color, and then I have this really beautiful dark, kind of like it's almost like a cocoa color. It's really pretty. It's a lot darker in the pan than it is on the eye, but I also have barely put any on. But I'm gonna go in and pack on a lot more to make it darker, because I'm gonna go in with a clean fluffy brush and blend it out together so it looks more of a transition instead of just two separate shades sitting next to each other. So I'm going to go in with an Elizabeth Mott brush. It is a tapered blending brush and it's very clean. You can see I haven't used it for anything. I just washed all my brushes yesterday and they are all set and ready to be used. Make sure you clean your brushes. I don't know how often you're supposed to clean your brushes, but I try and do it like once a week or so. Sundays are usually my days to like take care of myself and prep for the week, do my makeup, practice, clean what I need to clean. So if you have a day like that and you have that ability to take a day for yourself, I highly recommend it. I mean, it sets me up for such a better week when I can spend a couple hours just kind of taking care of myself and reflecting on the week and seeing how it went. I mean, it's a huge thing. I think sometimes people confuse self-care with being selfish, but self-care is so important. And for so many years, I never took care of myself the way I should have. And this last year, I have really been focused on self-care and doing little things to help me throughout the day. Like every morning, I make sure I have a matcha latte and give myself at least 15 minutes. Something that simple can be self-care. It doesn't have to be like spending $50 on a manicure or a pedicure or getting a massage or getting your hair done. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing, and it doesn't have to be a beauty thing. It could be taking a bath in your house with some like bath salts, or the Epsom salts. They help relax your body. It could be going on a walk with your dogs. It could be meditating. I mean, it could be so many things. So finding something for yourself seriously will change your life. Like, I highly recommend that you try it. Well, that little tidbit kind of just popped out, but today's Sunday and you know, it's my day, so I have to share with you guys. But anyways, like I said, with my clean, fluffy brush, I'm gonna go in and just kind of sweep very lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure because I just want to buff it a little bit, but I don't want to mix the colors. See how already that kind of blurred that line a little bit, and you have all this harsh line right here. I want everything to look like that. And I'm not worried about down here because I'll fix that later. Okay, so now that that line is buffed out a lot more and it's not such a harsh line, you can see even when I put my eyebrow down, it's not so heavy. That's where I want it to look like, but I want it to be a hair softer, and I want the first transition shade to pop a little bit more. So I like to hold at the end and just with 3 fingers, and I just so lightly pick up a little bit, tap off the excess, and just so lightly go in, because I don't want to buff that color out any higher, and I also don't want to muddy it too much. So I'm just going in, and I'm going slightly into the 2 colors to lighten up that darker shade just a hair more, to create more transition between the 2, because you really want it to be like almost like a gradient and go all the way down. So I'm going to go in with the BS small brush. It's not named anything, but it's basically just a little flat brush. You can see just like that. And I'm going to just pick up some of the concealer and put it right on my lid. And I put it just on the lash line so I can look up like that, look down, and you can see exactly where that line was created. And that's where I'm going to cut everything. And I'm going to cut it all the way around and then down to here, because I want it to be the whole lid blue instead of just half. Okay, so now that I've finished cutting the crease on my eye, I am going to take the same brush that I cut my crease with to pick up the blue shade. I did clean it off, but it is a little wet, which is what I want, because I'm hoping that that will make the color pack onto my lid a lot darker and more kind of dense. So let's see. Okay. So picking it up with a wet flat brush makes this color come on beautifully. I mean, look at that blue. And all I'm doing is just dragging it in the pan and pressing it right on my lid. I'm not dragging because I have the wet concealer on there as my sticky base to hold this on. And if I drag it, I'm going to drag the concealer all over the place, and we don't want that. This shadow is also really buildable. So the first layer I put on, if you can kind of see, it's very light, kind of like a turquoise, but as you get down and I pack on top and just put a couple layers, it gets that really deep, like velvety blue color. It is gorgeous. I can't wait. Okay, I'm gonna finish packing this on my lid and I will be right back. So I have those blended just how I want, and I'll clean up this when I put the foundation on. But now I'm going to go in and add a little bit of glitter just to this outer area right here, right outside the blue and on the darker shade. It's gonna go out a little bit, and it's just gonna be a little half kind of moon that I'm gonna create. And I'm gonna use a combination of this really pretty shimmery shade on the Mar palette, and I'm also going to use a loose shimmer by Naked Cosmetics, and I'm gonna use the shade, I'm gonna put the lid back on, Desert Sunset, and it comes in just a little guy like this. These are actually really fun to play with because they're loose, and so you can kind of build up, or you can do just a little bit, or you can kind of make them look like a fairy dust. So they are fun to play with, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on, but I'm going to use a glitter primer by NYX. The packaging is so awesome, kind of just how it changes colors when you move it around against the light. It helps loose glitters stay, and it also helps like thicker glitters. I don't have any thick glitter, which is what I wanted to use for this, so I'm going to use just the fine. But before I put on the primer, I'm going to just use a flat brush to pick up some of this and just kind of place it where I'd like it, and then I'm going to go over it with the glitter primer and put the loose glitter. So my upper lid is all finished. I have all the shades. Let's see, I went in, so for the top transition shade, since I didn't realize that there were names, I used, it's called Boozy, is that lighter shade. And then the dark shade is called Top Down, and this beautiful blue shade all over my lid is called El Rey. So those are the three colors I used in the Mar ColourPop's Cosmetics palette. And so far, I love all the shades. They came out really great. I am going to clean up that, like I said, but I'm not going to do my lashes quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera and then finish up my foundation on camera. So I will be back. All right, I'm back. I did it. I think this eye looks a lot better. The first eye that I do never looks that great because I have it in my head, but I don't have it on my face yet. But then my second eye, I'm like, okay, I see what I did. I know what I want it to look like visually, I can see it. So the second eye always turns out better. I need to start doing this eye and then doing this eye on camera. But, so we're all finished up with that, and I just have a makeup wipe, and I have glitter all over my face because I use loose glitter, and I have blue everywhere from the blue falling out. And I'm just going to clean that up because I don't want that all over my face for my foundation. Didn't think this through all the way. I already put moisturizer all over my face, but I am now wiping it off now that I think about it to get all this excess off. The color that it gives me, and it gives me a little, wow, not being able to rub things on my hand is really difficult. So I'll just kind of, and it's a gold color, so it gives me this really pretty shimmer. And I normally would do primer and then do some like liquid highlight just to give me, and rub that all over my face to give me like a more glowy, dewy look. But I found with this primer, oh, there was blue. It's okay. You can't see it. I found with this primer, it gives me the 2-in-1. It's like illuminating like a highlighter, but it's also a primer. Okay, so for foundation, as always, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, matte and poreless. It is for normal to oily skin. I am normal just about everywhere else, but I get really greasy right around my nose and on my chin. So this does really well with my skin, and I don't need a primer, which is why I'm not worried about if my primer is sticky or if it is gonna be tacky and hold on the foundation, because this foundation holds to my skin beautifully. It is a little dark, like I've said in the previous video, so I go in also with NYX Total Control. It's just a little dropper. It's actually really nice, and it is in the shade Porcelain. Since it is summertime, it is actually the ass end of summer, but I got really tan. So the Porcelain just wasn't working for me anymore, so I switched it up to Classic Ivory. Turns out I am not tan enough for Classic Ivory, but I'm also not pale enough for Porcelain, so I just mixed the two together. And I'm just using my BS Mall Face Flat brush, and it's just a little brush like this, and it's called Face Flat, and I just put a little bit of the Fit Me foundation, and with the dropper, I'm going to just drop on a little bit of that. And I'm just going to go straight into the skin. I like to just kind of dot it all over so I don't get too much product in one place. And of course, down the neck and on the chin. And I start out just kind of like stippling. Ooh. Don't drag it off your face. But just stippling it on a little bit and just get it spread out where I need it to be. And just be careful right here because I want to keep that little bit of a flat line underneath there. Okay, so you can see when I just stipple it, it all sticks on and it looks very cakey, and it just looks like this blob of foundation. You can see under there too. But once I get it all stippled and I get it spread across my face, I go in and then I start to buff. And I do just kind of like little swirls. I don't pick the brush up, and I'm not doing like this. I'm trying to stay concentrated in where I'm at. You're gonna hear lots of pitter patter throughout this video because my puppy cannot just take a nap right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of cream contour just to make it a little bit more. So I'm going to go in with the Pro Concealer by LA Girl. It is in the shade Pure Beige, and I use this as my contour color, and I just kind of squeeze it up just a little bit. You can see it just squeezes right at the top, and I just drag a little line And when I do my cheeks, you can see the dark is right there where the contour would be. I do it a little higher because when I buff it out, it goes low. And if I put it right in that line and I buff it, it goes too low and I don't have a lot of room between those areas right there. So next I'm going to go in with Pro Conceal again. It's by LA Girl, but I'm going to use the shade Porcelain, and this is going to be to highlight the areas that I want to be more noticeable. So I'm going to go in underneath my eye. So now that I have highlighted and contoured everywhere that I want to be done, I'm going to go in with the BS Small, and it's the Face Flat brush, but it's an angled brush. This makes it easier to get into like little crevices underneath here and on my nose and my forehead. But I am going to wet the brush a little bit with my 2-in-1 setting spray. It is called One Night Stand. I mean, it still does what I want it to do. So again, I'm going to just stipple this on. Get a little mirror so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to stipple this on. I'm just doing really light tapping motions. And with now that I have buffed out my contour, you can see that I have a little bit more structure to my face. I'm going to set my face with the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. It is the loose finishing powder, not foundation. I'm going to go in with the BS Small Face Tapered Brush, and it's just like a little cone. And this one works so great, and I just press it underneath the eye. I used to use a damp beauty blender to set my under eye, but I actually have found that this brush really just works way better. I can get in to the creases I need to get into, and I can brush it away and not have too much. Sometimes I felt with the beauty blender I would get too much and then I couldn't get it off. I mean, if we're being honest, I just feel like I don't want to use a beauty blender for anything anymore. Like, I love the way my foundation looks and the way the powders look with these brushes. I mean, they're just great. So I'm just setting everywhere that I put the concealer, and I'm trying to avoid the parts that I contoured with the darker shade because I'm going to go in with my bronzer and deepen those up a little bit. I am going to hold off for under here because I use the setting powder to carve out my cheeks and not necessarily set underneath. So while this is all sitting on my face, I am going to go in with the Hoola by Benefit. It is the bronzer. It's just a little mini that I got because I wasn't sure if I'd like the shade. And I'm going to take my Face Angled BS Small brush. It is like the angled brush, but instead of flat, it is rounded. I'm going to go in with that, tap off the excess, and just press it into the skin. This gives me a nice outline of what I want to do, and then I can buff it out when I'm done because we don't want a harsh line. Now that I am all contoured and bronzed up, looking tan, looking good, not looking like a pale little person that I normally am, I'm going to go back in with the face tapered brush, and I'm going to pick up more of my loose setting powder, and I'm going to just follow that line straight down. I added just a little bit on the contour and bronzer I had around my chin because it makes it softer and I don't lose all the work that I did to carve my chin out and make it look a little bit more defined, but I also don't look dirty and it doesn't look like I actually tried to do it, because that's the goal of all this, right, is to not look like you tried. Next, I'm going to take the Eco Tools brush because with the BS Small, I don't have anything thin and flat like this to do my nose. So I'm going to go back in with the Hoola by Benefit in this darker shade. And I'm just going to draw a line right on top of the cream contour. So that is really intense, and we ain't gonna leave it like that, believe me. But what I'm doing is I'm dragging, I haven't added any more product, I'm just dragging the bronzer color down onto the sides of my nose to make the sides of my nose appear a little darker too. Because if you just have like a dark line, you're still gonna see like the nose on the side and everywhere else, and it's gonna look a little odd. So I'm just dragging that down, and then I'm gonna drag my brush all the way at the start of the shade on the bridge of the nose and drag it down. And by doing that, I'm going to soften up that hard line that I have right on the bridge, because we don't want it to be that harsh. Next, I'm going to just go over that little V that I created with the same brush and add a little bit more product. This gives me kind of like almost like a button nose appearance. I have a little bit of a bigger nose, and sometimes I don't like to contour, and I like to just, you know, show it off. And some days, like today, I want a button. So to clean up my nose contour, I had a bunch of leftover loose powder on my tapered brush, and all I did was go through and really buff out those lines and kind of swept it across my nose to clean up that the contour I put under there. And by doing that, I wasn't wiping away anything. I was kind of just adding like a very light translucent layer to it to tone it down, because I didn't want to lose any of it. I just wanted it to be a little toned down. So as you can see, I just went in, so you can still see the nose contour, you can still see a little bit of a button, so when the light hits it just right, it already creates highlights that I want. And then when I put a highlighter on that, it'll really pop when I'm outside, when I'm in the light, and in pictures, and that's what you want. So I'm still gonna leave this on there, and I'm still gonna bake that because those need a lot more time to sit to get the effect that I want. So while the under my cheeks and my chin are still baking, I am going to go in and finish up underneath my eye and throw on some lashes, and then I'll be able to wipe this off and finish up the look. So we are going to stick with the trend of using the same brush for these same colors because we don't want to muddy it. So I'm going to use my BS Small Fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that first transition shade, which is called Boozy, on the Mar palette. And I'm just going to kind of connect it to that V. Is that a question? No. I'm going to connect it to the V right underneath on the bottom lid. And I'm not getting it close to the lash line. I'm kind of just following the shape of my eyeball underneath to create a little bit more dimension. So you can see right there, my eye looks a little bit more round, and right there it looks more flat because I'm adding that color in. So I'm gonna take the small brush by BS Small first, and I'm gonna tap into that same dark shade, which is called Top Down. And I'm gonna get that really close to my lash line right now. So now that I have smoked out the lower lash line, I'm going to take this Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil. It's by Maybelline, and it is in the shade Lustrous Sapphire. It's a beautiful blue shade. So pretty, and I'm going to line my waterline with it. Okay, so you can see the little bit of blue on the waterline that I just added. I didn't want to add an ivory color or a white color, but I also didn't want to do black in there because this is kind of a more starker shades, but it is colorful. I don't usually do a lot of color for like my daily look or when I go out and do things. I typically stick with like browns and oranges and like tans. So playing with this blue color was really fun. So I wanted to add this that I got the other day in the bargain bin at Ulta. So it was only a couple bucks, which was really cool. So now that I have the waterline done and I have my upper and lower lid done, I'm going to add some mascara and then add some false lashes. I'm going to do that off camera, and then I will be back to finish up my face. All right, guys, I'm back. Did it. Took me only about 15 minutes. I am actually going to go in with this really beautiful, kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a greeny blue, and it is called Gridlock. So I'm going to go in with that and put it on my inner corners. So here is the final eye look. I'm going to wipe away this excess powder on my face. So since I let it sit there for a little bit, it's going to look a lot more highlighted how I want it to. So you can see it's a lot lighter than everything else on my face, and my chin is a lot lighter too, but it doesn't look muddied So the blush that I've been using recently is by Tarte. It is the Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush. It's in the shade Quirky, and I just use my Face Round brush by BS Mall. Just a rounded, fluffy brush, super soft on the skin, and I just kind of push it in there like that. Kick off any excess. I accidentally picked up too much. So since there is a lot of product there, we need to be real careful. I'm just gonna right on the apples of my cheeks. Like I said, there's a lot of product, so I'm barely touching, and you can already see that it's transferred onto my skin pretty well. I'm doing light swirls and light buffing. I am going to use the Urban Decay. I don't even know if this is a highlighter. Let's see. This is actually an eyeshadow, but it's called Midnight Cowboy, and I mean, look at that. Like, that's a highlighter. I'm putting that on my face, not my eyelids. There ain't nothing you can do about it, Urban Decay. Ooh! Yes! Look at that. Oh my god. You guys. Oh. Okay, we're gonna have to tone that down a hair. Not much though. I mean, kind of digging it though. I've never had my highlight look so damn good in my life. But it's a little much in person, like looking in the mirror, I'm like, hello. So I'm just gonna I love this fluffy brush from EcoTool. It's just called Full Blush because it's so soft and so fluffy that when I need to just brush off excess, it doesn't get rid of everything. It truly just gets rid of that extra powder that is sitting on your face. This band-aid is just so ugly. It's really ruining this video for me. And I have a little bit of fallout from the inner corner shade, which I already forgot what it was, but I'm gonna say it's called My Way. It is. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take this BS Mall brush, just a little small guy, kind of flat, and I'm gonna spray it with some setting spray. Perfect. Oh, it's cold, it got on me. And I'm gonna just ever so gently pick up just a little bit. I mean, just a tiny bit. You don't need a lot. Oh. And I'm just going, ooh. I normally use Nomad Cosmetics, but I haven't used this in a long time as a highlighter, and I mean, look at that. That's just, and it has like a pinky hue to it, and so it adds a little bit of like color to my face, which I really, really love. Just a little bit. Pick up just a little bit more. I used to go in, oh my god. I used to go in and do my highlighter with this huge brush, and it would literally just be like, this whole area would be highlighter. And finally, I took the advice of people who know what they're doing online. I seriously cannot even believe that I don't use this every day. Like, what? You guys, again, this is supposed to be an eyeshadow, but this is like, I am just a glowing fucking queen. This is great. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna add a little to my chin. Fuck it. We're just gonna put it everywhere. I have glitter all over my desk, all over me. I ain't even mad. I'm gonna just add a little. I feel like this whole look would look so cute with like a really nice little black dress. So I'm gonna take this, back it up a little bit. So the face is done. We are looking glowy. Oh my god. You know what? This is great. You know what? Everything is pretty matte on my face. As far as like my eyeshadow, I have a little bit of glitter on my inner corner. I have the glitter on the outside, but for the most part, it's very matte. So I think I'm gonna stick with that matte trend. And if we don't like it, we'll just add gloss on. So, and this is a nude color, so it blends really well there's not a huge difference. It just gives my lips a little bit more kind of like life to them. Hello! Just kidding. I won't do that. But this is the final look. We have the final look right here. We're all finished with everything. Let me get a little bit closer in my roller chair. So I curled my hair earlier today for this video and I was not feeling it. I just have my straightener, but I just washed my hair last night, so my hair is very soft to the touch, so it's not holding anything very well. So I just slapped it up in a little half pony like normal, get it out of my face. It's at an odd length too, so I'm not really feeling anything on it. I want to chop it off again, but I also want long hair, so I'm having a very hard time with my hair situation. But here it is. This is the final look, and I hope you guys enjoyed everything.